The most serious threat to bats is failure to understand them.
That's what people feel. They feel they are not really good animals.
Bats are of huge economic importance throughout much of the world.
Bats actually do a lot for the environment, for the human race. They eat a lot of insects. They eat a lot of the pest insects. The bats at Congress Avenue Bridge, about 1.5 million bats during the summer. They're eating about 10 tons of insects every night, and that makes an enormous difference to the number of pest insects that are on the landscape. That costs agriculture billions of dollars every year, both in crop loss and in the pesticides.
It's been conservatively calculated that bats are saving American farmers almost $23 billion a summer. And you got to keep track of the fact that this is at very reduced numbers, not what they could do if we had full populations of bats. Worldwide, there's a large number of economically important plants that depend on bats for pollination or seed dispersal. Just the tequila and mezcal production from agave plants that rely on bats for pollination is worth billions annually. Africa has the baobab tree. It's of great ecological importance to Southeast Asia. Bananas, without preserving those bats that they require for pollination, we could threaten one of the world's most important food crops. In Southeast Asia, there's probably no fruit more cherished than durian. Again, it sells for billions of dollars annually. And yet, you can't produce a durian fruit even in an orchard without bats to pollinate the flowers. Many of the most valued timber trees of Australia are dispersed or pollinated by bats.
They're incredibly important pollinators as well as them being really important seed dispersers.
Literally, just go around the world, name your place, and there's something of big importance that we might lose without bats.
But as important as bats are to our lives, we're losing them rapidly. And the main threat is us.
Main threats to bats all across the world will start with the habitat destruction.
Because of deforestation, some of them are gone.
There's other threats as well. I mean, the bats get persecuted by people. The main one, yeah, is deforestation and persecution by people.
People don't know about them, so they're a little bit ready to fear them. And Western negative perceptions about bats, it's in our old stories and all those superstitions, all that sort of thing. Although I don't think a lot of people really take a lot of notice of that, but it's in our subconscious.
With majority of the nocturnal animals that they know very little about, they make myths. They actually think that they are evil and it's a bad omen.
They are evil animals which possibly attack people.
And our grandparents used to say, like, bats come in a house, they will catch your nose. So we are afraid lots from that.
We strongly consider it as a vampire. It's a bloodsucker.
There's psychopaths right there.
Out of roughly 1,400 species of bats, only 3 of the species are vampire bats, and they're only found in Latin America.
A lot of the myths are actually originated from the West. We don't have vampire bats in India, but still people will think of that. It's basically from either some movie or something that they've seen.
And sometimes my family gets scared. There are vampires there.
But why do people's perceptions of bats matter?
Years ago, Ted Fleming and I went to northwest Mexico to study the endangered Leptonicterus bats pollinating cacti. We found that the people had burned their local roosts. When asked why, they said, "Oh, if a bat flies over you at night and urinates in your eye, you'll go blind." They really believed that. And this had led to burning several key roosts.
Having this underlying fear makes it hard for people to tolerate living with bats.
They stink.
Smell?
They stink.
They smell bad.
The smell of the bat.
The dirtiest creature on there makes the whole thing stinking.
We get some smell.
You know, guano can be smelly, bats can be loud.
Anything that impinges upon what in your home should be just you is sometimes envisaged negatively.
Tolerance of people has gone down and is having a lot of impact on bats that used to earlier live with people but not anymore.
So if you find bats in your house, what do people do?
Normally we kill them. Straight away, no two ways about it.
My parents used to say, if we see it, we could kill it. If that bat is in your house, something bad is going to happen. Maybe I'm going to die. Maybe something bad is going to happen to my family.
They find a bat in their house and something bad will happen to them. Maybe they believe that someone will die in their family.
There are some superstitions that some people use them for witchcraft activities.
The fetuses of the bats can be used to blind someone to your intentions.
They might even slap people when they're flying.
They can slap people. They can slap you. People believe that it's, they slap people. They are witches. They do hit people. Just believe.
Bats are a bad omen. Usually there is an issue with witchcraft involved and also black magic. So whenever people get to hear about bats, their first reaction is, let's kill this.
In the West, many people decide to kill bats because they're afraid of getting diseases like rabies from them. But getting rabies from bats is incredibly rare.
It's the rarest disease in America that only kills 1 to 2 people a year. We have a serious problem because of gross exaggeration of fear about bats. People will not protect what they fear.
So what are some ways that we can try to change people's opinions about bats?
Try and focus on education, because people don't care about laws.
Going and educating members of the public. Usually by the time you've spoken to someone, you've explained it to them, people calm down and they understand.
They don't know the good sides of bats and how they're useful to us.
Hopefully the education normalises, working out what ways you can do to live with the flying foxes.
Education is by far the most effective approach, and now I'll give you a very good example. I go to this Tennessee cave owner, ask him for permission to study bats in his cave, and he says, he'd be delighted to have me study his bats, but while I'm there, kill all I can. He thought studying bats meant killing them, that you had to kill them and take them away.
Right.
And if I had bristled and told him the bats are valuable and gotten after him, I might have not even gotten permission to go on his property.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thanked him for permission to go study his bats. Went in the cave and I noticed that out in front he was growing potatoes. And when I went in the cave, I noticed potato beetle wings scattered all over the floor where bats had brought them in, eaten them, and dropped the elytra on the floor. So I picked up a handful of those. And when I came out, I pretended a little bit of ignorance and said, I'm trying to understand a bit better what these bats eat. I found these under the roost. Do you know what these are? Oh, them blankety blank potato bugs. Them suckers eat potato bugs? I said, yeah, that's not all they eat. They're probably eating corn earworm moths also, and maybe even a few mosquitoes. Well, how many insects do they eat in a night? Well, a colony that size probably eats 100 pounds of insects in a night. Oh, that's a lot of insects. I come back a month later, and I haven't said one thing about protecting his bats, never told him he should protect them, and he became a staunch bat conservationist without ever even having the word conservation mentioned. That's effective conservation.
So education is pretty powerful.
Education is incredibly powerful. I mean, at the same time that we saved 1.5 million bats here in Austin, we lost a colony of almost the same size in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And the only difference was that here somebody knew their value and cared enough to communicate it effectively.
Of course, the classic education, like actually bats eat mosquitoes, all these things you can do, but they only ever reach as far as we can reach.
She's echolocating at 60 kilohertz.
It's pretty remote for most people to say they're really important pollinators and seed dispersers. Unless people have a connection with an animal, it's very hard for them to value it and want to protect it.
But bats don't have much time to wait for our opinions to change. Bats are being electrocuted on power lines, caught on barbed wire, sliced in wind turbines, starved by deforestation, disturbed by light pollution, paralyzed by ticks, fried in heat waves, and decimated by the white nose syndrome. All of this, in addition to bats being disturbed, hunted, and persecuted by people. Entire colonies are collapsing. We're losing bats by the millions, and many species are becoming endangered and are facing extinction. But even so, there is still hope.
People are generally far more aware that bats have value. That doesn't mean that we don't still have very big problems. There's still a lot more we need to do. We can and should take pride in what we've accomplished thus far, and it should encourage us to have hope for the future. If so few of us can do so much in such a short period of time with so few resources, there must be some hope.